Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss another interesting topic that has been in news for past few days, that is about the Global Methane Pledge and what is going to be the effect of such pledge on the global warming and on the larger scale the climate change. So let us start and delve deeper into the topic. So first of all, before understanding the pledge, let us try to understand a slight background about this. So first of all, the idea of this pledge was mooted by European Union as well as United States of America somewhere in the month of September this year. Later on, as we know that after this in October, the end of October, we have the Glasgow Conference of Parties Summit of 26th Conference of Parties Summit, and in this climate conference in Scotland, Glasgow is a city in Scotland, this pledge was renewed again, and so far till now almost 90 countries have signed this pledge or joined the pledge regarding the global methane emission. So now let us try to understand that why this pledge or what is the main objective of this pledge. So this pledge has been undertaken with the sole aim or objective of cutting down the methane emission by up to 30%, whatever methane we are emitting in year 2020, by the year 2030 we have to cut down that level by 30%. Apart from that, rapidly reducing methane emission is considered as a complementary action that the global leaders on the global forums, these leaders and as well as other industries, businesses are taking to cut down the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. And as per expert, it is believed to be the single most effective strategy that in the near term can help us in reducing the effect of global warming or overall warming of the atmosphere. While if you look at the long term, the global methane pledge is also going to help us by limiting the warming of the earth up to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That is our aim as per as the Paris Summit Agreement. Now, we understand that the main aim of global methane or global methane pledge is to reduce the impact of global warming. So let us try to understand slightly about what do we mean by the global warming. So global warming is actually the long-term heating of the climate system of the earth that has been observed since industrial period or pre-industrial period, that is somewhere between 1850 to 1900, and mainly what we see that the proportion of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the gases that are directly responsible for causing global warming, has shoot up significantly, mainly due to anthropogenic activities, that means human induced activities after industrial evolution. And the main contributor of the increase in the greenhouse gases can be said to be the fossil fuel burning, especially that is done either or as a result of industrial activities or vehicular burning, or this we can say diesel burning, petrol burning, as well as other economic activities. So due to this, the greenhouse gases, they trap the heat inside the atmosphere. So when their proportion increases, obviously the atmospheric temperature will rise up, and due to which various climatic disturbances which you are seeing across all the world. Now a slight more understanding about global warming we try to understand, we can see the main causes are the trapped greenhouse gases in the atmosphere as we have discussed, and which are, if you look at the importance of methane or how methane contributes to this. So from animal farming, methane is also greenhouse gas. Apart from that, burning was fossil fuels, and the solution can be increasing vegetarianism or encouraging carpooling, walking, biking, electricity cars. So these are some of the methods that we can adopt to significantly reduce the greenhouse gas emission. The effect we can see all across is the rise of temperature that can lead to melting of glaciers, that can lead to weather irregularities in terms of storms, hurricanes, that can lead to large scale ecological destruction as well as displacement of human population, especially from the sea areas or the coastal areas. There are several hindrances also in terms of global warming. First hindrance is that many experts, or not expert, but you can say large scale belief is there in large number of countries that global warming is a hoax, that even some political leaders also believe in such kind of this we can say hoax, and we can say that denialists are one major hindrances who do not want to see the implications of the global warming and the climate change that is inducing. Apart from that, there are economic interest also. Suppose to reduce the global warming or the impact of global warming, we have to focus solely on reducing the emission of greenhouse gases. And if we want to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases, we have to shift to the cleaner energies that will have we can say adverse effects on the pockets of oil industries, and a lot of these people are there who try to do not want government to make policies that are not friendly to them or environment friendly policies. So, there are economic interests also that are being hampered. Apart from that, the sale of these cars like diesel cars, petrol cars, that will also go down. That will also impact the profits as well as the revenue of the car manufacturing companies. So, a lot of jobs and everything are at stakes. Apart from that, also there is slow pace, and due to this reason we can say there is a hard lobbying from the oil industry, the vehicular industries, and that is why the pace of shifting toward energy efficient fuel or shifting toward green fuel has been relatively low as compared to what our need is as per. Then evidences of climate change. Now we try to understand, is the climate change really a hoax, or are there certain evidences that we can see that tells us that climate change is here and is real. So if you look at the present situations or the few past these examples, now in California in 2015 there was a drought that is considered to be worst water shortage in last 1200 years, and it is believed that this drought is directly related to the climate change and has been intensified by the event of global warming. Similarly, we can see everywhere all across the world there is rise in the sea level, and that is wreaking havoc on the coastal communities where large scale displacement we are able to see, and the most destruction, or we can say in the future the countries which are small island developing countries that are going to face the brunt of this global warming and the sea level rise. Apart from that, since the 1990s, the impact we can see in the Antarctica region also, where almost Antarctica has lost 4 million or 4 trillion metric tons of ice, that is causing the rise in sea level, and overall it is also disturbing the heat balance of the earth. Apart from that, we also see not only in the colder regions but also in the hotter or warmer regions, we have cases of extreme heat waves that have caused tens of thousands of deaths around the world in the recent years, including in India. And not even that, some climatologists or climate scientists have also concluded that the frequency as well as intensity, frequency means the number of cyclones that you are witnessing, and intensity means the strength of the cyclones. So both of these has risen up in the last 10 to 20 years, and this can also be largely attributed to the event or effect of global warming. Now we try to understand this in detail. So what happens? We know that tropical cyclones especially, or hurricanes that affect the North Atlantic regions, they take up moisture from the sea as well as heat from the sea. So when the global warming happens, the sea temperature or the sea surface temperature rises, that increases the probability of formation of cyclone, and that is why as the global warming occurs, the number of cyclones also increases. At the same time, due to melting of glaciers, directly due to the effect of global warming, rises the sea level, and as the sea level rises, the volume of water in the sea rises, and as the volume of water in the sea rises, the amount of moisture that is available for the cyclones, that also goes up. And due to these factors, not only the frequency but also the intensity of the cyclones is increasing these days. So these all are the evidences, the current evidences that we are witnessing in last 10-20 years can be directly attributed to the effect of global warming and is the effect of climate change. Now coming to the major greenhouse gases which contribute to the global warming are the carbon dioxide. Now these 6 gases are there that has been classified as the major greenhouse gases as per the Kyoto Protocol. So we have carbon dioxide, that is one of the most potent greenhouse gases, and also because its density is very high in the atmosphere, its contribution to global warming is quite high. Apart from that, we have methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorochloride, perfluorochloride, sulfur hexafluoride. So these are the 6 major greenhouse gases, and apart from that, one other important greenhouse gas is the water vapor. So these collectively are responsible for causing atmospheric temperature rise. Since we are talking about methane here and global methane pledge here, let us try to understand what are the major sources of methane from where we see entry of methane into the atmosphere. So overall sources of methane can be divided into 2 types. We have natural sources as well as we have anthropogenic sources. So natural sources, the most largest natural source is wetlands, that is about 40% of emission of methane that happens naturally, happens via wetlands, like paddy field can be there, or we can have bogs can be there, marshes can be there, marshy lands can be there. These emits methane. Apart from that, we have methane emission that is also happens from the ocean, and apart from that, the animal waste also, when they are biodegraded, they also emit methane in the process. While on the other hand, anthropogenic or human induced methane sources, if you look at this, these are the fossil fuels, the direct burning of fossil fuels. livestock farming, as well as the landfills and waste. So these are the major sources of methane. Apart from that, recent times the scientists or climatologists are seeing a big spike in the emission or anthropogenic emission of methane that is directly linked to something that is called as fracking. So fracking is a method of extracting shale gas from the below the earth's surface. So these gases are trapped in the rocks, and by fracking, that means we send electric signal, electric charge through these rocks, and this causes burst of these rocks. And when these rocks crack, these gases are released, and we try to bring up by the pipeline for like compressed natural gas, we can say. And as a byproduct of natural gas, this extraction, at the same time some methane that is present in these rocks are also released, and that attribute or contribute to the increase in the greenhouse gases and increase in the global warming. Now, we look at India, that apart from these natural methods I discussed, or natural sources and anthropogenic sources, these are present everywhere. But recently or in the future, we try to understand, if you look at the methane in India, there is large amount of methane that is held underground in the India within a coal layers, and India has a plan to extract this coal from the coal bed, to extract these coal gases from these coal beds. And this is done, if you look at this process, this is done by this method. We can see from here, like we have this coal bed here, and from coal bed we try to remove the groundwater, and during this process, when you try to remove the groundwater, the pressure drops, and this coal bed, the gas present in coal bed comes out from here. Like for example, we can say methane is released from here, and this pressure drop causes significant amount of methane release. So as the government of India is planning of extracting almost 2 million metric standard cubic meter of coal bed methane gas per day in next 2 to 3 years, as per this estimate by Ministry of Coal, we can understand a large amount of this methane can again get discharged into atmosphere, leaks into the atmosphere, that will significantly cause the increase in the concentration of methane in the atmosphere. So not only these sources, but there are some other unconventional sources are there from where in future we expect methane to release, and one of such sources are the permafrost region. So permafrost regions are generally found in the polar areas, and this is defined as any region or any ground area that has remained completely frozen, that means below 0 degrees Celsius, for at least 2 years straight. And they are most commonly, as we discussed, in regions with high mountains where temperature are very, very low, as well as in the higher altitudes near the North Pole and the South Pole. So how they can act as a methane source is simply because of global warming. What is happening is the temperature is rising, and as atmospheric temperature rises, we see thawing of ice. Thawing of ice means melting of ice, and as the ice melts, the organic matter that is trapped for a long period of time below this ice layer start to disintegrate biologically by the presence of bacteria, and due to byproduct of this bacterial disintegration, we see release of methane as well as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So we can understand that what will happen, that almost 1400 gigatons of carbon is estimated to be frozen below the permafrost layers of Arctic as well as Antarctic. And if you compare this figure with the current amount of methane in the atmosphere, it is only 800 gigaton. So almost we can say 1.7 to 8 times of the current concentration of atmosphere, current concentration of methane in the atmosphere is lying in the permafrost area. And in case of, we can see 50 years, 100 years down the line, when the due to the severe impact of global warming, you can see where the large amount of or large area of permafrost will start to thaw. All these, there are potential of all these methane trap to get released into the atmosphere. And the after effect of this we can understand from this cycle here, that what is happening due to thawing of permafrost, more and more carbon dioxide and methane will be released into the atmosphere, and this will cause further rise of temperature, as these are the greenhouse gases. So they trap more heat, atmosphere temperature will rise more. As atmospheric temperature will rise more, there will be more and more thaw of permafrost. As there is more and more thawing of permafrost, more and more greenhouse gases will be released. So this is kind of something will establish that is scientifically called as positive feedback loop. That means it is an example of positive feedback loops where more and more methane and carbon dioxide is being released due to global warming, and due to release of more of these gases, more global warming is occurring. So such kind of situations will further cause severe impact on the climate and the weather of different places on the earth. Now, let us try to understand that how significant is the role of methane in the warming. Carbon dioxide is very important one, but even if methane we talk about, it is much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. Here we have to understand and keep in mind that though the concentration of methane in atmosphere is low, the ability or capacity of each molecule of methane to absorb heat is much higher than compared to one molecule of carbon dioxide. And as per a UN study, it is believed that methane is responsible for almost 25% of global warming that we are witnessing right now. And also UN study says that its global warming potential is almost 80 times greater than the carbon dioxide. That means one molecule of methane is able to absorb 80 times we can say atmospheric absorb heat as 80 molecules of carbon dioxide will be able to. Apart from the recent study by IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they have also said that methane is responsible for a significant proportion of 1 degree Celsius warming that the world has already experienced since the Industrial Revolution. Also, it is believed that when methane leaks from our daily activities or from industrial activities, then almost 2.3% of average methane leak rate is there, that will erode much of the climate advantage that gas has over coal. Okay. Now, we try to understand this statement. What it tries to say that now we are focusing on, instead of petrol and diesel, we are focusing on using natural gas, compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas as for various purposes. And during this process, we believe that by using gas, we will be able to we will able to ride over, or we will able to gloss over the disadvantage that coal has. But if methane leaks into the atmosphere, it will erode the advantage or climatic advantage that gas has over the coal. If we try to understand this from this graph here, we can see the carbon dioxide has potential of causing almost 0.6 to 0.8 degrees Celsius rise. At the same time, methane has this methane is expected to cause rising of almost 0.3 to 0.5 degrees Celsius warming in degrees Celsius in the coming days. Okay. Similarly, other we can say halogenated gases, black carbon, nitrous oxide, other aviation contrails are there, VOCs are there. All these are causing or can have this we can say have potential to cause rise of global temperature, atmospheric temperature by this much degrees in the future. Now, so if we take a global methane pledge, or if we are able to go through with the global methane pledge, then there are certain benefits that we can expect. The first is that the global methane pledge directly could help the world avoid almost 0.3 degrees Celsius of warming by year 2040 as per the research conducted by Climate and Clean Air Coalition. And as rightly described by European Union Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen, that the global methane pledge or the reduction of methane concentration in the atmosphere can be said to be the lowest hanging fruit that we can pluck in our effort to reverse or significantly reverse the impact of climate change and global warming. And not only that, the reduction of methane will also help us reduction of air pollution, and overall it can contribute to improving the human health. So, the global methane pledge can go a long way in our goal of achieving whatever we have desired in Paris summit that is in COP16 and and also in COP26, whatever our goals are there, we hope we will able to fulfill it by this sticking to the objective of this pledge or adhering to the objective of this pledge. So that is all for today. I hope you like this session. If you like, please like, share and subscribe. We'll come soon with another interesting topic, current affairs topic. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.